everyone, this is Sanaya Sethia and welcome back to another episode of The Femme Frontier. Today I'm here with Mrs. Yogita Lonkard, who is a consulting homeopath and a psychological counselor. She's also a fitness mogul who's trekked multiple different mountains, including the Everest Base Camp. So it's wonderful to have her here today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Sanaya. Thank you so much for inviting me over here.
And so, as we begin, I want to know more about your journey into homeopathy and your overall fitness journey as well.
I will definitely share that. But before that, let me have the privilege to congratulate you. You're doing a fantastic job, Sanaya. And really, at this age, you have been exploring so many entrepreneurs. You're doing a fantastic job. You are definitely a motivation for a younger generation. Not, I will say, not only the younger generation, like people like us also, you are like you have embraced me a lot.
So,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah, and my journey, if you ask me, so I have done my DHMS 26 years ago from Lokmanya Homeopathic Medical College. After that, I have also done my fellowship, post-graduation fellowship in homeopathy and psychological counseling. I am also a fitness trainer, which I've done from Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital, physiotherapy department. And I have also done batch flower therapy from College of London University.
Wow, those are a lot of accomplishments, Calamity speaking. Tell me more about your fitness journey as well.
Fitness gym, my personal, yes. Okay, so believe me, I started my fitness journey at the age of 43. Till that time, I was quite chubby. I had gained weight like all other women after delivery, two cesarean sections, and I had gained too much of to weight. And I was not into fitness. But at the age of 43, suddenly, we friends decided, just four of my friends decided to go to Kailash Mansarovar. Over there, too much of Q fitness is required and oxygen rarity is there. So from there, from that point, I just jumped into the fitness journey. I started my weight loss. I started exercising daily on a regular schedule. Previously, it was like I couldn't run for even 100 meters. But now I can run 5, 10, kick 10K and still want to achieve too much, two more. So this is, yeah, fitness is a journey. It is a process. I'm enjoying it.
Wonderful. And now, since we're at the topic of fitness, I know you're into a lot of adventure sports and trekking. So, walk me through those experiences of yours.
Yeah. Uh, we have a nice group of trekkers, like all doctors. We do lot of trekking. We just decide one trek, one big trek, and then for that trek we do preparations. Every Sunday we go to, and there are like we are blessed with all Sayadri forts, so we explore those forts. Uh, we do lots of trekking every Sunday for preparation of that one big trek. So I think, as I told you, I started my journey when I was 43 years of age. And from thereafter, every year we just plan one big trek. And for that,
Months of training.
yeah, months of training. So we just enjoy that thing. So like that, I have done Kailash Mansarovar, Everest Base Camp, Pangarchula, Kedarkantha, and many more like Ranthan Khara, uh, to name a few.
Wow. So I think it's very inspiring to see, especially for a lot of the pioneer generation, considering health is a major topic that's in a lot of discussion, not just on social media but in the general society, and to take up so much with dedication and practice and patience is truly admirable.
Yes. It do requires a lot of discipline, dedication, hard work. Trekking, I will tell you, is such a job that you have to like you develop your overall personality gets developed into it, because you go into nature. It is a kind of meditation. You just that peace, that greenery, that snow-clad mountains. You observe that, and your whole body, mind gets freshened up. One should try actually.
Definitely. And I love the way you also describe how the experience is, because we can also tell how truly passionate you are about trekking. And now, speaking with psychology and your degree, you had your degree in homeopathy over 26 years ago, and you've recently gotten your degree in psychology, if I'm not wrong, yes?
Yes.
So, what led you to pursuing the degree after such a long time?
Yeah, that's a big story actually, but I'll tell you in short. I believe there is no age bar for any of the learning process. You should learn till the last breath of your life. For me, yes, definitely, I passed my BHMS 26 years back, and later I wanted to pursue my post graduation, but I couldn't. I gave the entrance also, but I got admission in Aurangabad, and due to some other priorities, I couldn't do that 26 years back. So, recently, 2, 3 years back, I'm grateful like to Shreya, my eldest daughter. She told me that, Mama, you have time now and you should achieve whatever you wanted to achieve. You pursue your dreams now. And Shiromi suggested that you are good at understanding the people, you are a good listener, you have a good patience level. So you communicate with people very well, and people do come to you for advice, and they do take your advice. So why don't you go for psychology? And that hit me because homeopathy and psychology. I love homeopathy and classical homeopathy. Uh, so that's why these two are related. So I can't why not to go for it. So just recently, at the age of 50, I started pursuing my fellowship in homeopathy and psychological counseling. But believe me, this is not an easy job. At the age of 50, sitting from 9 morning to 5, attending lectures, doing her dissertations, essays, and submissions, and on top of it, I've been preparing for exams.
Brings you back.
Exactly. So it was a tough job, but yes, I'm blissful because everyone from my family, like my husband, my younger daughter Sachi, my in-laws, my mother's family, everyone supported me, and I enjoyed this journey, and I came up with flying colors.
That's wonderful, and congratulations with everything. Thank you so much. So I want to know more about how your experience was uh, going back to becoming a student.
It was a bit difficult initially. My back used to ache after sitting so long. Even actually, I am like into habit of writing. So I love writing. So I used to write too much during the lectures. My fingers used to pain. And then after that, we used to have case presentation, case discussion. We had to study that cases and all of it. Like my college, like I just remembered my past days of my BSMS, and yeah, and the most difficult part of it was the exam preparation. Really, at this age, when you have your family, your children, yeah, I lost everyone. So you got to look after. You can't just deny those responsibilities. You can't deny your clinic responsibilities. You have to look after your patient. You have to look after your family, and you have to manage along with this your extra any activity. So after doing such responsible core work, I many times I had to just keep awake and do my studies. So it was a bit difficult, but yes, when there is a bill, there is a way. I could do it, and I'm happy I could do it.
Well, I'm glad your journey was so fruitful. And I want to talk about your career. I want to know, what does a week look like for you as a consulting homeopath, a psychologist at the fitness group?
Yeah. So I think this all the three things are pretty much interrelated. Like for a homeopath, I have been practicing classical homeopathy since last 26 years. And as a homeopath, we got to take case in detail For me or for any of the homeopath, every case is different. We have to study a person as a whole, his along with his physical symptoms. We have to study his pathological symptoms. We have to diagnose the case. But along with this, we have to study his mind, his psychology, his emotions, what turmoil he is undergoing through right now or since childhood. So we have to study all these things for a homeopath. And being along with that, I'm also a counselor. So this is like we will say Sone pe Suhagna. So because psychological counseling itself is a part of homeopathy, and homeopathy is a part of like we study the case and we prescribe homeopathic medicine. But if we do along with that psych counseling, it is like the results are fantastic.
Wow.
And fitness, if to adult, um, if we change our lifestyle, like we do some simple mistakes in our daily routine, we just have a bit laziness. Everyone has that. So some boost is needed to some persons or some motivation is needed. So if we consider or if we manage our lifestyle, the result like these three combination I think is the superb combination because it helps the growth like uh, become healthy physically as well as mentally.
Wow. My next question is homeopathy is a very different medical field from what we traditionally observe, even in the Western culture. So, what sort of cases do you essentially see most commonly, or do you take up with homeopathy, which are easily treatable or can be treated with homeopathy?
Yeah, that is a good question, Sanaya. Homeopathy is a branch, like we treat a patient, and it has totally it is without any side effect. So we can treat n number of cases, whatever it is, like acute or chronic. Even if it is and some simple migraine or fever, cough and cold, and you can have homeopathy. Or it is, however chronic the case is, you can treat it or you can palliate it. By personally, I had the dissertation on cancer, like homeopathy, cancer, and psychological counseling. So, if the patient of cancer comes to you and if you give counseling and homeopathic medicine along with your routine, whatever treatment you are taking, so it is quite beneficial because in such cases, most of the time, if you come to know that you are having a cancer, it itself is a very big
It's colloquial
yeah, yeah.
that even to mention like texture your voice emotion after diagnosis.
Yeah, patient goes into depression and they don't have will or they just go into panic, like they get frightened. So if we give counseling and homeopathic medicine along with that, it helps to boost their will to live. This thing we can boost by psychological counseling as well as by homeopathy, and homeopathy remedies do at for cancer also. So in number of cases, along just not the cancer, I give the example of cancer. We can take arthritis or autoimmune disorders nowadays has become very common because of sensitivity and common cough and cold I told. So n number of any of the joint problems or your suppose digestive problems, we can homeopathy has very fantastic reasons in digestive problems. Whatever it is like acidity, hyperacidity, say, or anxiety disorder, anxiety related any of the things, it has got a fantastic result.
While Drew, this very interesting to hear how diverse the field of homeopathy is in terms of gaining results as well. So now these dietary habits and in general lifestyle habits that are seen presently also have an effect on hormones in our body, especially in girls. When we're talking about the PCOS, formerly known or now known as PMOS.
Yeah, polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome (PMOS). It has been renamed nowadays because a lot of metabolic and endocrinal changes have been affecting girls, especially girls. So many of the reasons is there for that hormonal changes. Uh, Pubertal age, which was prior 13 or 14, nowadays it has become 9, 10 years, or in some cases 5, 6 years. Girls also are getting their menses. So these are all due to hormonal changes, and there are n number of things. One of them is the milk. We won't say on the some.
The always is like tight your
Yeah,
but it's
one of the cause, one of the cause. Yeah, there are like, so that's why many of the doctors are suggesting to stop milk, because the cows are being given oxytocin injection to produce more milk, and then that milk we consume. So these hormonal changes do affect our body. So in PCOS, as you raised this, I would like to say that polycystic ovarian syndrome, which was known previously, many of the common girls know, or women know this only. So I'm talking in that sense. So if we do some lifestyle change in girls, one of the major cause is sedentary lifestyle also. Like girls are not going out, they are just having junk food, putting on weight. So this is a vicious cycle. PMOS itself leads to obesity, and obesity in turn leads to hormonal changes and PMOS. So girls are fitting into this vicious cycle. So what lifestyle change I would like to say on this platform? The girls should at least exercise or play some sport or have dance or anything like physical exercise 1 hour daily. So not only girls, it's for everyone, but specifically we are basic. Yeah, when a girl come to me, I have to say, keep first of all, I study her lifestyle, and I try to fit wherever it is possible. Many of the girls I suggest to do Zumba in the evening. If they don't get time for exercise in the morning, do Zumba in the evening, or have join some dance class. So do whatever the type of exercise you are interested in, but at least spend an hour in doing some physical exercise. Reduce junk food, have a healthy food, protein rich food, some fruits, or the multivitamin. You get vitamins from whatever source you should take. That you should have raw vegetables, fruits, and a balanced diet, I'll say.
Wow. So I learned a lot more about the meditation with you in this conversation, especially when it comes into garden lifestyle and lifestyle changes to make for the general public, and of course, so certain parts of the public as well. So that was very enlightening. Thank you. And now, biologically speaking, when you do certain activities like fitness activities or exercise or sports, your body automatically releases endorphins, which are the happy hormones.
Yeah.
So, do you think increasing this activity, especially in the younger generation, will decrease the prevalence of these psychological issues or cases of it?
Definitely, definitely, yes. Because this is the era of mobile. Half of the time, few of yours or children, I won't say only children's, all generation, like all persons, half of the time is just they are wasting on their phone. It is the era of social media also. So Insta, Facebook, and number of things. So I think going out, play, or doing some exercise, or going with your friends, and just I to still at this age I go and just enjoy my cricket. And if I do that, so like my whole day goes very well. Like it is awesome. It is a awesome feeling. You meet your friends, you have a great rabo, you just laugh. That's the thing. Going in nature, doing trekking, you should opt for this kind of thing. Playing, we should go for that. So I think just not wasting your time in mobile, keeping a limited time, or just decide your time how much you want to spend on your mobile, and go out, play some sport or do exercise, it definitely releases endorphins, and a happy feeling is that you do something good in the morning and the whole day you can work or you can do multitasking also, and number of things you can do.
Wow. Now I want to get to your private practice. So you have your private practice here in Jindal. Now I want to know from the business aspect, because healthcare is such a primitive field, or it's such a brick in a predominant field. How do you maintain or improve your business reach?
Yeah. Nowadays, a medical practice has become a bit difficult, and this is the era of social media also. So I am from the generation where we used to take we believed one patient should come to us. I needed to have one-to-one conversation with patient, but now the generation had changed or the time had changed. People don't have time, so we also had to change. So many a times I take online classes. Uh, Sometimes, if the patient are comfortable, we take Zoom Meet, Google Meets, or we can have the conversations on phone also. So you have to update yourself or keep yourself on your toes. Like you have to observe what this generation needs, what is the demand of the situation. So yeah, definitely the mode of business is changed, the mode of practice is changed, and yeah, trying to
So, like, as technology changes in science and scientists have to adapt, the same goes for business. You have to adapt to current trends in technology. Now, when we talk more about your private practice, as a doctor and as a businesswoman both, what are some hurdles you worked very stringently to overcome other than having a online presence?
yeah, uh, it is always about the time. uh, in our practice, we usually Marathi, we say that Swata Meka Shiva Svarga Disvat Nahi. This is a very common phrase in Marathi. Like we doctors have to be present all the time to see our patients. Our job can't be like yeah. So if you are there in the clinic, you are there, or your work is going on. So this is one hurdle that I might myself personally face, that you can't manage the time. Sometimes you have some other priorities, so you have to adjust some time. But for that, you got to come out with some solutions. You have to be stubborn, like this is my time, and you have to come in this time. Or sometimes I do take a privilege, like all my patients, some of them come from a distant places. So even if it is there 10 o'clock at night, sometimes I manage to go. I try to go.
Right.
So it is like you have to be flexible,
Unconsiderate,
well, considerate. So so that you can manage everything. But the time is the one constraint which is the most difficult aspect or the hurdle in our business.
And now my last question is, what is one or two pieces of advice you would want to reach the audience with? Overall.
I would like to say, learn, earn, and grow. Learn, just go on learning. I believe that uh, the day you learn something is your day. Rest are on the days of the calendars. So at least try to learn something each day. Whatever it is, it can be anything out of your hobby or your practice or academics. You got to give half an hour or 1 hour for learning something daily. You should go for earning. One should become financially independent, even whoever it is, a woman or a man. One should be financially independent. That will lead you to grow more.
Awesome. And thank you so much. It's very inspiring to hear your story, especially considering how you're a lifelong learner and how you've continued developing yourself no matter what what your surroundings are or what your age is even then. To go that you can start your fitness journey even after you turn 40 and be so successful as to climbing the Everest base camp. So it just talks about how willpower and dedication and discipline will let you do anything in life. So it's been wonderful to have you here today, and thank you so much for making the time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was my privilege to have me over here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.